Hi, Debbie here. Well, I have another project share. This is an altered balsa box. This is a 7-inch balsa box that I happen to have in my stash for who knows how long. I got it at Hobby Lobby a long time ago. And I just never got around to doing anything with it. And I've been using that Ciabella Romantic Time paper, and I just thought, well, let me go ahead and finish up on that paper pad because I still had some left. So I thought I'd go ahead and alter this balsa box. And I just want to show you how it turned out. I did use some applique that I cut apart and placed around. And of course some flowers. And like I said, most of my flowers are wild orchid. And then I have this trim here that I put across with some flat back pearls. And that's what I did here. So just a nice little flower arrangement. And I just have a little bead in the center of that flower here because it's one of those flowers that have those green plastic stems in the back. So I just pulled all that off and just layered and just glued the layers back together and just put a little bead in the center because I didn't want that green plastic. And so yeah, so this is how it turned out. And I have a piece of cut out some more trim for the side there. And this is such pretty paper. I'm having such a good time working with it. I've never made so many things with a paper pad in my life. I've been really using this up. And then of course I left the elastic and the knob that came with the balsa box because I didn't have any elastic to switch this out. And it goes with the paper anyway, so it turned out pretty good. Because there's a lot of, beige and very light brown in the background, so it worked out pretty good to use it like that. And then I lined the inside with paper too. Now I still need to trim the elastic because I wasn't sure how tight to make it. I didn't want it too loose or too tight, so I wanted to play with that until I had it exactly how I wanted it to be, and then I'm going to trim. Then I'll trim the elastic off. But where I have it now seems to be in a good place. So yeah, so this is my altered balsa box. Let me give you another close-up of it again. Some more cutouts. I just cut out leaves from the appliques and tucked those in. And of course I have rosebuds and roses, and that's usually what I use a lot on my flower arrangements anyway, or roses. And so yeah, this is my altered balsa box. And I did a little process video right after this if you want to see how I put it together. It's not really like a tutorial because I always stop and go on mine. And so I really don't walk you through it because I am so slow with what I do. This would be like a 4-hour video if you saw me actually working on it, and I just, Well, anyway, just stay tuned if you want to watch how I put it together. Okay, the first thing I needed to do is I needed to take the little attachments off in order to get the paper on there. So I just very carefully removed the little knob that goes here and the elastic closure because I'm going to be reusing these because I don't have anything like this in my stash to replace this, and so I'm just going to go ahead and reuse these. So what I need to do is I need to take the paper that I'm going to be using, and I'm still actually using this paper. I'm still using the Ciabella Romantic Time. I'm still using this paper because I still have some left from other projects and I just wanted to use them up. And I'm just going to measure, which I've done, to fit, which takes a little, because on the inside you'll see that this part of it is narrower than the top flap. So I had to cut it to fit so it'll fit in. So it'll go right into these little slots here and then it'll fit. So that's what I needed to do. So I just need to, and I also had to add paper to it because the box measures 14 inches and my paper only comes 12. So I had to do that for the inside and the outside. So I've got them cut. All I need to do now is I'm just going to ink up the edges on these, distress them a little bit, and then I'm going to glue them to the box, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And what I'm finding that helps get the paper on this box, because it does curve, is to take the paper and roll it. And I just take it and I roll it like this, just to break down the fibers a little bit so that it curves a little bit, and it's just going to make it easier to set on here and glue it down. And of course I do the same thing on the inside. I will roll the paper, just roll it up, and that way it'll go inside the box a lot easier with the curve. And then I'll also put it, when I glue these, I will glue them a little section at a time. So I'll put some glue down here, I'll put the top on and let that set a little bit, and then I'll just continue on around, because since it curves, it's just going to want to, and since it's paper, it doesn't bend as easily as if it was fabric. So I just need to play with it, take my time, and then we'll go around the box. I also use clips to help hold the paper down for a little bit while it's setting. So yeah, that's what I do too. So that can help also. So I'm going to let this area right here just set up a little bit more, and then I'll just continue working on. Well, this is what the inside is looking like. So I have that on the inside. So what I need to do, see, I just was a little bit off on my measurements, so I need to just trim that. Well, I couldn't get scissors in there to cut it, so what I did is I took an emery board, and I very carefully, I just, just took it off that way with the emery board, being very careful because balsa wood is very fragile. And so yeah, so that's what I did. I just filed it off with the emery board, and now I have it totally off. So now all I have to do is put the outside piece on. And I also already punched out my little holes for the elastic to go back on, because I wanted to do that so I'd know on the inside where to poke them once I have this covered up. Okay, well, I have the paper on the inside and the outside, and what I forgot to do is I forgot to measure paper for this part, for the inside and the outside. So I have some paper here that I picked out that I'm going to just take it and then just draw around and then cut it out, and then just, adjust them to fit. And I'll put one on the outside and one on the inside on both ends. So let me do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, well, I've got the sides on and on the inside. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to attach this closure back on, and that's going to take some finagling because I got to go through these little teeny tiny holes I punched in, and I have to go through the inside and bring it out and then take it in through the front, and that's going to take some work. So let me work on that, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, well, I've got the elastic on, but I'm not going to trim this big long piece until I'm finished. What I need to do now is attach the little piece here that the elastic goes around, and I'm going to put that on with art glitter glue, and then I'm going to clamp it on, and then I'm going to let that set up and get really, really hard before I even try to put this rubber band around it. So let me do that, and then I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, I have it on, and I have it clamped on just to hold that down while it sets, and it's going to take a good 20 minutes for that to really set up hard enough for me to try to see how this rubber band is. I don't want it, in case I made it too tight, I might have to loosen it, because I don't want it too tight, but then again, I don't want it, it just seems very loose to me, but until I try it on the little knob, I'm not going to know. So I'm going to let that totally set up, and let's see how this works. Okay, I think it's been set up enough, so let's see how we do here. So, seems like it might hold. So far, so good. So let me do that. Now for on top here, I have this lace trim here. I am going to put a piece along the front like that. So I just need to cut all this a tool off because I'm not going to leave it on. Usually I do, but I'm not going to leave it on this time. So I need to cut around all these and get that on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've got this on, so that's how this looks. Now on the sides here, I do want to put a little something on the sides here, on the little box. And I have this trim here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out one of the flowers, about that much of it, and then just put that like right here. And I'll put one on this side, and then I'll put one on the other side, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, got some on the both sides, and I will be putting flat back pearls on these two also. But right now I'm going to start getting my flowers out and see about putting some kind of a flower arrangement on the top. So let me get my flowers together and let's start working on that. Okay, well I pulled out a bunch of flowers, and now all I need to do is start working on some kind of a little arrangement. And because these are the colors that I'm going to be working with here. And I'm going to take that off and put some of these on top and have the silk leaves coming through. And then of course I have the rosebuds that I'll put on. And I have some little white flowers here, and I've got these really pretty ones too. So I got a bunch of different flowers. So I just need to play around with my little arrangement here that's going to go on the top. And then once I have that all set and on, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I have all the flowers on that I'm going to be putting on, and this is how it looks like. I got some lace, cut out some appliques, and I put those on also. And in the center of this rose here, this is one of those ones that have those plastic backings. Well, I took that off and just glued all the petals together, and then just stuck one of the little beads in the center, like that. And then I put some flat back birds across the trim here. And I don't think I'm going to put any on the sides here. I'm kind of like leaving it just like that, I think. And then it opens. Of course, I still need to trim my elastic. And then it just closes. Just like that. That's how it turned out. Really pretty. So that is my altered balsa box. And I will leave my email address in the description box below if you need to get a hold of me. Or if you have any comments, you can just leave them in your, or if you have any questions, you can leave them in your comments. And I'll get back with you on those. So thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.